Kara and YouTube. It is Wednesday, April 13th, and do you know what that means? Your video punishments are due, and I have yet to see either one of them. You have until the end of the day in your time zone to post it, and if you fail to, then you have until next Wednesday, but you also have to sing a verse and a chorus of the Lady Gaga song of your choice, costumes preferable. So, better get those in. Kara didn't post again last Friday, which was very sad for me. I have no idea what's going on in her life. So, shame, Kara. I might even add another punishment for you because I have not heard from you in a very long time. We'll have to talk to Sarah about that one. I got my hair cut. You can see. It was the weirdest haircut. Well, no, not as weird as last time, maybe. There's this place, a chain called, like, Mr. Toppers, and there's several of them near where we go to class. But anyway, I walk in, and a woman comes up. She had an accent, but I'm not sure where she was from. She's like, okay, yes, I'll do yours, and, like, grabs me, and just to card is kind of like, oh, my colleague will take care of you. She, like, spends a long time, like, washing and, like, gets splashes everywhere. Meanwhile, Carter gets his wash done very quickly. So he's already getting his hair cut by the time she's, like, drying me off and stuff. And then I'm talking to her, and I was like, oh, yeah, I want to go short. I want, like, a pixie cut. And she's like, pixie cut? I don't know this. What is pixie cut? I'm like, well, maybe that's an American term. It's just a short, girly haircut. She's just like, I don't know this. I'll get picture. And they don't have any, like, hair magazines lying around. They just have magazines. And so she brings one over, and I'm flipping through, and there aren't that many pictures, and they aren't of the hair. They're just of, like, people at events and stuff. And finally, I find one with kind of about what I want, and I point to that. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a pixie cut, something kind of like that. And she just kind of looks at it and goes, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, I want to do, she starts describing it. She's like, kind of short, sharp line here, and then kind of longer on top, which is like what I just had. And I liked what I had, but when it grew out, it didn't look that special, and it was kind of hard to style and stuff, and so I didn't want that again. And I was like, oh, I don't think so. I just had one like that, and it was okay, but I didn't really like it. And she's like, and then she's like, but this is kind of boring. So I think I'll give you with, like, the line and I'm like, I don't really want a sharp line. I want it kind of messy because when it grows out, it gets messy anyway. And she was like, So she kind of is like, okay, I'll give you this, but I don't. It's not fashionable. I'm like, all right, and starts cutting this, and she's like, I'm gonna give you the line because it's gonna look very nice. And I'm like, okay, fine. And so she, like, just attacked my head. She just, like, like, she would cut it right up against my skin. Like, I could feel the scissors kind of, and the razor. She would take the razor and I've never gotten a haircut like that. She would just, like, take the razor and take parts of my hair and just use it like that. Like the razor they use, like, for the back of your neck. And she was so bossy. And I warned her about my eyebrow ring because whenever I get my hair cut, they always catch it at least once on the comb, and it hurts and sometimes gets a little pussy when that happens. But I'm used to it and I expect it. So that happened once, and I just kind of flinched and then didn't mention it. She saw my eyebrow, and she's like, oh, what do you do to clean your eyebrow? And I was like, oh, I just, take a Q-tip and some saline. And she's like, oh, you should do this every day. It'll heal much faster. And she starts telling me how to take care of my eyebrow ring, and I'm just like, okay. She was so bossy and controlling. It was so funny. And I love the haircut, so it worked out fine. She was just like, no, that's not fashionable. I'll give you this. This is more fashionable. And so she gave me this. And I was like, all right, cool. I like it. So that was an interesting haircut. I also mentioned I was going to the opera on Wednesday, and that was very strange. It was Monteverdi, which is very early opera, medieval. So the music style was not something I'd heard before, and I really, really liked it, and the singers were phenomenal. But it was with a contemporary setting, which was sometimes very cool. Like, they were in a glass house, which was kind of cool, and they did a lot with that. But I felt like the concept kind of fell through at some points, though some of my classmates disagree with me. And then on Thursday, I saw Clybourne Park, which was so good. It's actually an American play, so my professor wasn't going to take us to it, but it was getting such good reviews, she decided to anyway. It's written in response to A Raisin in the Sun. For those of you that don't know, the plot of A Raisin in the Sun is there's this black family that has saved up this money and got a good deal on this house in a very nice white neighborhood in the 50s. So it's written in response to that, and the first act is in the 50s, and it's as that family that is the white family that's moving out of the house that the black family has bought. The, like, community leader guy comes in and tells them why they shouldn't sell it to this person. Like, all these crazy things happen, and it's just so funny because everyone's dancing around the issue and trying to be politically correct, and then they aren't at all. because it's the 50s. And then the second act, and this is what makes it brilliant, it's kind of like Into the Woods in that way, is set in the house, but it's completely abandoned, dilapidated now, and it's in modern times. You see all the characters from the first act in modern clothes sitting in a circle. They are there going over some issues with the house because now the neighborhood is predominantly black. And the white couple wants to move into the house and move into the space and build a new house on the premises. And the community leaders, who are now the black couple, are against this because their house is 15 feet higher than anyone else's house in the neighborhood. And, the houses are all historical, so they aren't sure if the house will fit in with the historical houses and that sort of thing. So they're sitting here and debating, and it quickly becomes about race, because once again, they're dancing around the issue. So then everyone just starts getting offended and then just starts like hurling racist jokes at each other and offending each other. And it's just brilliantly funny. And it's especially brilliant because, the first act you laugh at because it's like, oh, isn't that funny? It's in the 50s and they're so not politically correct. And then the second act makes you laugh at yourself because you realize how ridiculous situations are where you are trying to be politically correct and how sometimes that's even more offensive than if you just let it out. So it's a really fantastic play. And I saw some great actors, including Sophie Thompson, who is Emma Thompson's sister. If you've seen Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, she plays Mafalda Hopkirk, which is the witch that Hermione turns into when they sneak into the Ministry of Magic, and she was great. And then also, for those History Boys fans out there, which many of my friends are, Stephen Campbell Moore, who played Irwin, was in it, and he was so funny. And I couldn't help thinking through like the whole play, it's not racist, sir, but it's race-related, which is a line, or something along those lines, is a line from History Boys. Actually, when we were going to find a pub after the show, and we walked kind of behind the theater because back there was an alley with like some pubs and things, and we found the stage door, and the actors were just out there talking to some people, and I was like, cool. So I had a few of them sign my ticket, and then Sophie Thompson came out. I was like, oh, will you sign this? Will you sign this? And she did. And then I went up and asked Stephen Campbell Moore to sign it, and he does, and he starts talking to us, and I talked to him for a decent amount of time. Polly and Melina were visiting, and that was fantastic. It was so great to see them. We did some shopping. We walked around in the parks a lot. The Germans brought the good weather with them. It was sunny and nice and warm the whole time they were here. And I had a really nice time, and I'm sad I can't see them anymore. I'm also excited because I'm going to Brussels this weekend with Carter. So that'll be very, very fun. Everyone's gearing up to sign up for classes for next semester. I found out I got into a senior tutorial for second semester next year, spring semester, with my advisor, which is going to be really great. So that has solidified what my schedule will be this semester. I'm going to take a Nature and Transcendentalism English class and an astronomy class for wipe out the last of my science credit, and then 2 history classes. So if I'm able to, I'm going to double major, which will be really fun. My birthday is in a week and a half, so I'm getting some cards and gifts and things in the mail. Then I got a little package today, and I was just figured it probably had to do with my birthday. And I didn't recognize the handwriting, and I didn't see a return address. It's like a little cylinder, and I start unwrapping it, and it's a vitamin bottle. I was very confused. And Carter's like, that's sketchy. Is the seal broken? And so I check, and the seal was broken. I was like, somebody's trying to poison me. And so I was very, very confused. And then something caught my eye, and I found a little note, and it says, Emma's lost ring. She had gone to visit a friend of hers in Oxford and forgotten her ring there, so he mailed it to me. And so I was like, oh, and I unpacked the packaging, and he'd put the ring inside the vitamin bottle wrapped in tissues and stuff. But it was so strange and worrisome for a minute. So it's all good. Emma, I have your ring. I will see you all next week. Hopefully we'll see Kara on Friday and or some punishment videos coming in the next few days. And I very much look forward to those. I haven't heard any updates on how they're going. So hopefully they haven't forgotten completely about them. Bye!